a whole lot of noise. But if I turn it off, let's hope the mosquitoes don't come and get me. I'm ready for them too. You know, we're down here getting ready to have this. I could be a monsoon, but in reality, you know, it's maybe our first hurricane is kind of slipping into Florida Straits, and it just started raining. It's just going to rain and rain and rain. But anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys real fast because, you know, I'm on a roll. I might as well talk while I have some time. But anyways, hey, it's Rick. If you don't know me, Rick Worth. I'm some guy that's always trying to debunk the Bible, the real life message being sent to us through the Bible. You hear that, rain? And that I'd like to debunk the story that when people think that this is a prophecy, that it's not. You're not supposed to read the Bible at face value, or what they call the letter, because the letter kills. And because of this, because people do believe in the Bible, and because they force this narrative onto the believer and onto the public, and because they were in charge of everything for a long time, they absolutely did this. This church side that says, oh, there's got to be a separation between church and state. Listen, you know, that's like believing in, you know, Democrats and Republicans. Come on, you know, wake up, you know. Anyways, what I have to talk about is the name Israel. All right, I just want to talk about this stuff. The name Israel is not about a place on earth. All right, yeah, they have a place called Israel, and yeah, there's a bunch of Jews connected to it and stuff like that, but that's a created narrative. All right, that's believing and following in people. You know, a lot of people used to believe in Zeus. A lot of people used to believe in Medusa and all of these other gods. If they really believe in them, they just absolutely believe in them wholeheartedly. Let me tell you, there's people down in the Caribbean that absolutely believe in that Santa Teresa stuff, you know. I'm telling you, you can believe in whatever you want. But when it comes down to it, there's a science behind. What do you get when you deal with lower conscious things, lower energy, lower frequency things? What's available to you? What do you get from these lower energies versus what do you get from these higher energies? What do you get from the better side or the higher side of things? So this sets up this idea that hey, there's always it's like night and day. It gets its side, it gets its side. This gets its side. It's just balance, you know. It's boom, boom, boom. You know, it's good and evil and good, you know. As long as you can recognize. And I would tell you, you know, I keep saying that, you know, things are rigged towards the lower side for whatever reason it is. But anyways, you know, one of the things that they say is a prophecy is like GOG and Magog, all right? The only real bad guys in the book, symbolically, is Satan. Satan and the beast. The beast is our animal nature. It's you and me. That's the skin side of us. And our carnal mind, which is not subject to the laws of God, is the enemy in the book. You know, it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Sin is everything it takes to keep us alive, keep the skin alive. And our skin sacrifice is to shut this down so that we can make it over there, so our soul is released from inside of us, released and allowed to go up into a higher realm of Delta conscious, where this beautiful frequency bath of the spiritual side of us can do its cleaning on us, all right? And this cleaning is the battle, all right? GOG and Magog is the lower mind. And who's complaining is that the higher mind. Look, they keep tearing us up because Cain kills Abel. The dark comes over the light. It comes increase the black side and the white side. This is the fourfold nature of men. But as the sun and the moon, or as the earth turns, it's always the dark side that overcomes the light. Okay, that's the story. Okay, That's Cain killing Abel. That's the mind. You know, this is the smart side of us. You know, the intellectual side of us, killing the spiritual side. All right. And believe it or not, religion is on this intellectual side because there's this makes sense to them. They put their mind on it, and this is it. You know, so it's their intellect killing the spiritual side. Religion kills the spiritual side. Religion kills the spiritual side of the human being. They're not the same. Okay, I used to think they were. I used to begin some of my arguments like, well, we wouldn't know what was good if we didn't have religion around to tell us what was good. And, you know, every time I'm still feeling it. Every time I think about me doing that, I'm from the past. I'm like, ooh, god damn. Man, I was in the deep, man. I really was. I was into it, so I feel it. All of this aside, the Bible was and is a scripted book about how someone can obtain Israel. And Israel is not a place on earth, but a state of mind. And Israel is not even a Jewish word. It is 3 Egyptian sun gods. All right, Isis and Amen-Ra. Think about that. Amen-Ra, the great sun god. I've called my son out of Egypt. Jesus is going to set fire upon the earth. Come on. They're all sun gods, and so what it's talking about is if you can bring these 2 elements together, you get this. And then you're all 3, and then you're 1. That's all they're saying. That's a formula. It's like a sheet of paper. A sheet of paper. I can hold a sheet of paper up. I can hold some sheet of paper. No matter what you're looking at, you can see one side, you can't see the other, but together they make one. But no matter what, that's the way it is. There's a part of us that you see. There's a part of us that you don't see. But together they make one. Okay? In order to bring Israel together, when Jacob is this name, Jacob is the beginning of this word. This is where Israel comes from. It actually, the word Jew comes from him splitting his family up along those 4 corridors of our mind, where he sets the Jew, the Judas, on the side of the rising sun, on the east. That's where it comes from. That's where the children of light comes from, with the side of the rising sun. That's just beautiful. Beautiful stuff. But anyways, in GOG and Magog, regardless of where you get it in Ezekiel or what have you, the idea is that, you know, when the people are fighting things, when they're killing things, when they're... Oh, I listened to this one guy who was an apologist who says, well, you know, he's really not committing genocide. How else can you read it? Oh, he says, well, you can see there's a few people that are left over. Later in the story, you can see that they must not have killed them all. All right, so a few people escaped the grasp of Jonah as they made their charge upon the promised land and kill everything. And raid and rape and take everything and burn everything down behind it. Wow. That is, you know, oh, well, they really weren't committing to... Listen. Don't make me laugh. If you're going to believe the outside of this story, then it's pretty hellacious. Remember I told you that if you're going to believe on the outside of these stories, it's going to kill. So people like to emulate this. I heard some guy say, you know, we wish we were more like these guys. They really were passionate about it. You know, if they saw something that wasn't there, kill in the name of God. That is so blasphemous. That is absolutely blasphemous because they don't understand this idea. And it was made this way so to trick people into it. GOG and Magog are the emotions. Everything that comes from the due north is red. The red horse comes into play all the time. It's an end times thing. What's going to get us in trouble? What's the most thing that's going to throw us all off emotions? Something dies. Something happens. This is the, from the north, from the extreme north. This is not Russia. Israel. What's north of Israel? What's north of Israel? What's interfering with a sound mind? Our emotions. All right. The left side of our mind, ourselves, are the enemy within. We are our own worst enemies. We are. And when trouble comes upon us, it's going to come from the north, from the far north. All right. That's emotions. This is where I say that religion is, So if anything's going to happen because of this, they've created Israel. They put him right in the middle. They put a Western thing in the middle of Israel. Oh my God. That's political, all right? That's not prophetical. That's not prophetic. It's not a prophet prophesizing. It's not some prophecy coming true when they created it, all right? This is all written around, Oh, you're going to get the mark of the beast? Well, listen, they're saying, hey, we got something to stick inside there. After thousands and thousands of years, of reading the Bible correctly and not having ability to think of it, as I do, symbolically, that who in their right mind would invent something that's going to be pushed underneath your body, and be regarded as a mark of the beast? Come on. The mark of the beast has to do with something in your hand and your forehead, all right? If you cannot get Israel together, and this is what they're talking about, can you put in the Islamic stories, what happens is that there's something made of iron. There is a wall built between the two. This is the beginning of, we're going to dry out this thing. And this is Islam, all right? This is on the Islam side. This isn't Ezekiel. Look, I will make a barrier between the two, all right? And a lot of times in other stories, the barrier is what you're knocking down. This is Jacob Ladders helped you get over this thing, but this is when Joshua knocks down the wall to get into this place, and this is where someone is saying, we're building a wall. We're building a wall to keep these crazy people out. All right? And this is also the beginning of the hardening of Israel in their hearts. This is a hardening. This is the beginning of the stories. God's on their side for the first battle, but whenever they go out and try to do it on their own, they lose. So it's showing you that you can't do it on this. In this situation, you have to put yourself in this higher place, and that's what the word Israel is about. Israel, all right. Jesus gets up and he leaves, or this energy gets up and leaves them and finds these guys in Babylon. He's down in hell. How many times stories that Jesus had to go down in hell first before he now is going to set into a better temple. This is the story about bringing the bones alive. Remember the bones on the ground, and all he had to do was breathe in. That's the aspiration. Abraham and Sarah both get the H in their names from Abram and Sarai. That breath, the aspiration, this is what you get when you obtain Israel. When you connect all three together, it has nothing to do with what's on the ground. But in their efforts to bring the Bible alive, has created this hell on earth, because this top side of the Bible is the carnal side of Scripture. It's the wrong side to be on. And I'm sorry, after 2,000 or 3,000 years of doing this business, you can follow it. Well, it's there. You follow it. Let them follow. No. It's like a Starbucks. It's like a McDonald's, and everything is made up. So listen, this is all supposed to happen on Judgment Day, and that's Israel. to get your name, to bring up this. When Israel, when Jacob climbs the ladder and he sees Jesus or sees God face to face, whoever that is, all right. So the top of the ladder is the pineal gland. The top of the ladder is the chakra system. Jacob's ladder. He's restored. He's brought back to life. It's like Lot's wife. His spirit has been turned into a pillar of salt. It's being restored. It's being rejuvenated. It's the being saved. It's a type of preservative. It's all symbolic. The entire thing is symbolic. GOG and Magog, when something's coming from your extreme south, this is how the mind works. We're in this particular thing. And remember, when he sees Jesus or sees God, whatever, he's on this chariot, and a lot of people like to note, to bring it into being like a UFO or something like that. These little things that are spinning, and there's little faces. There's 4 faces. It's a compass. It's also the 4 corners of the earth. This is where people think about flat earth. The 4 corners. No, it's just, well, I'm telling you, there's this idea that if you want to take it literally, then you will follow a certain path, and everything can kind of make sense if you want it to, but I want you to tell you it's not. Those are the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac that they're talking about. And he's on each one of these wheels that are turning around. And when they have 4 involved, it's about you. That 4, if you can remember, that 4 is the combination of what is made. It is you, and it's in its duality, and it's in its most happiest phase. So what we're trying to achieve is this Israel hell. Alright? But in the scriptures, what happens is they're trying to soften the hearts of these guys, and the Israelites have somewhat gone astray. There's this bad side where we start to forgetting, and this is what we call backsliding. When we take on this God, and we've taken on, we've taken on Christianity, it's kind of fun, oh no, I want to do this. I have a friend of mine that's Episcopalian, and he also works over at the Jewish synagogue, and he does something else somewhere else. But he's trying to cover all his bases, so it's kind of funny. But there's a lot of people that do that, They're really searching for this outside God, instead of looking for the one that's inside of them, because they're being told that don't look inside. That's self-worship and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, anyways. $9.99 and all that. It comes down to a certain number. If you were to do this from the Islamic side of it, it's what they've done is they say, I'll build you a wall, but then I'm going to let them loose after a certain time. They call it 1,000 years. 1,000 years is just one, and 00 means forever. That's a godly number, all right? Which kind of means it's not going anywhere. Iron is a lower conscious idea, but the whole idea is that they block this in to keep the bad out of going over, to be able to go to the higher side. Do you understand? It was hidden from you. This is the beginning. This is what. Hey, where does it come from? Where did it begin that someone started hiding stuff from me and you too? Well, this is this Islamic story. This idea that we are going to hide this from you. We're going to build a wall between here and there, and you won't be able to find it. You can't crawl under it. You can't go beside it. This is where people think this is a flat, if this would only work on a flat earth, because they could build a wall from left side to right side. No, it's the veil between the left side and the right side of the brain. That's all that is. It's symbolic. It's not meant to be read. And it's about your mind. It's about our minds. What is affecting us? What holds us back? If we have trouble, yeah, it's going to come from the north, from the far north. If it's really going to come down, it's our It's our anger, it's our emotions, it's red. It's why it's got two horns. The strength. It's the devil. It's 666. It's the beast. It's us. It's no different than any of the other stories. It has no more or more greater or no lesser value than any of the other stories when the good is going against the bad. Like the Bhagavad Gita and the 5 blind kings and such, you just have to understand that they're all saying the same thing. It's our mind, our thoughts against the other side, but it's Israel. It's what we want. We want to breathe. We want to breathe into what is dead, to the spiritually dead. And when they bring him back to life, this bone's connected to the right bone and all of that, and then all their skin starts coming up, new men, people coming alive. It's breathing, it's giving them the aspiration of God. I will wake up my Israel, and I will bring them into and we'll have a new son of David to lead them on. You're the son of David. You're Joshua. And those battles are battles against your thoughts and your belief systems, your traditions and your fears, your upbringing, all those things that are holding you back or shouldn't be there. There's your battle. That's what you're battling. It's battling things that are holding you back. And then when you make this connection between the two, you'll very rarely fall back in there. But you will. But you'll know how to come back out. You'll know how to return home. So, what is north of Israel? What is north of a sound mind? Your emotions. What's going to rain down on you? Some terror and hell on you. It's GOG. GOG is yourself. It's hell. It's the literal monster himself. It's you. And real quickly, because I know what's going on, this is the neighbor. All right? This is your father. Okay? You can't spite your father. And you have to love your neighbor. Do you understand? You want to bring this side of us out of here. You want to bring it out of hell. You want to help your father. But you can't do it without enlisting the energy of Jesus, which is you, the human being itself, the individual, evoking mother, bringing mom into the scene as she wraps herself around all of us at one time. And beautiful things happen. It's something to do with our own body, chemicals and energies that the Bible and symbolism tells us is very important for us. And that we need nothing other than, clear mind, and try to hook up. And don't give up. Persistence pays off in this case. And because we're not seeking outside of ourselves for this God, you'll know that the scripture that says, I already know what you need. I know what you want. Come in here, find me. You looking outside, Gene, will never get it. And they said, damn, I wish this motherfucker knew how to meditate. Because I give him what he wanted. I know he wants it. I know he wants it. And these people, oh my God. They love their God so much that if they only knew, how much wonderful light would be brought back into the world to show them just how easy it was. And it didn't take any blood, and it didn't take no killing, nobody, no violence, no nothing, And it's a smarter Jesus, a smarter God, smarter everything. Anyways. Even if the world around us believes this, and they want to, and they pray for it, they're going to take us out with them. But having a sound mind, we can more like just watch it from, to be a situation where, I knew it, Yeah. I think that, you're not supposed to be afraid, when you have knowledge in you and stuff like that. And you have to understand that, that the life, we'll wind up in like Afghanistan and some little hubble someplace, Who knows where we'll wind up, but there's going to be plenty babies and plenty living out in this world, no matter what happens and whatever's in its future. If we're not here now, we'll be here later. So, don't be afraid and just take it as we go. Anyways, I love you and best to you guys.